Hello friends, my name is Hasib Ansari from hifivecode.com. Thank you for joining me in this video. We will start today's video by recapping what we learned in the last video. And for those of you who didn't see my last video, I have the link in the description below, and you can first check out what we discussed in the last video, and then you can come directly to this one. So in the previous video, we learned what is an authorization server or an identity and access management system, and we also went through in a bit detail by looking at some examples. Then we briefly went through the comparison of OpenID Connect and SAML protocols, and finally we made a conclusion of it. And as I also mentioned in the last video in the conclusion, that I have hosted Keycloak as a playground for any interested users to try connect Keycloak with their applications. You can simply shout out to me and I will share the credentials with you. And yeah, then you can simply integrate and try and do whatever you want in this installation of Keycloak. In today's video, we are going to learn what is Keycloak, and we will be seeing some of the user interface or components of Keycloak within the administration console, and we will try to answer a question like why Keycloak? When there are other options available, then why Keycloak, or why I have chosen Keycloak for this video series. So in today's video, we will be going and discuss in detail about this topic. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. So I have opened the link of OpenID Connect protocol documentation and also the SAML documentation, and we can see it here clearly that it is a lot of literature part, a lot of concept and definitions. It's also the same thing which defines how the OpenID Connect or a SAML protocol should work. And what I want to say is it is just a documentation with a lot of structures and details. And to come back to the Keycloak, so there is a team in Red Hat who is responsible for the development of Keycloak, and they maintain the project as an open source project in GitHub. And this team actually took or studied the documentation of both the protocols, and they converted these two documentations and gave it a software look, which is now called as a Keycloak. Therefore, Keycloak is an open source implementation of SSO protocols, SAML and OpenID Connect from Red Hat. Although Keycloak is an open source community version and it is absolutely free to use, but Red Hat also has a commercial version of Keycloak, and it is called as RedHat Single Sign-On or RedHat SSO. Though both the names sounds completely different, but they are actually the same project, and just Keycloak as a project is ahead of this Red Hat Single Sign-On project. That means that Keycloak is an upstream project of Red Hat Single Sign-On. In other words, any version of Red Hat Single Sign-On is always derived from or is an exact replica of one of the versions of Keycloak community version. As of today, the Red Hat Single Sign-On version 7.4 corresponds to the Keycloak version. Let's see here. Yeah, it has a table which says like the commercial version and the corresponding open source thing. So it directly corresponds to the Keycloak version 9.0.10. So if we quickly go to the Keycloak website and check, and for the downloads, if we go here in the archives, we will have this. So the available commercial version is corresponding to this version of Keycloak. So what it means when we have new versions of Keycloak and the commercial version is still stuck at this point, it simply means that after this, the stable release, all the patches and the security loopholes or any bugs fixing, this all happens on the later versions till the Red Hat thinks that now the Keycloak has a stable thing and they can release a commercial version. So let's say in the next month there will be a version 13 of Keycloak and the team thinks that this could be announced as a stable version. So it will be Keycloak 13, and they will also release at the same time the RedHat SSO version 7.5, for example. And on top of that, Keycloak community is very active in terms of security update, the product update itself, and also it has a very good mailing list where anyone can come and register themselves and they can ask questions, and there are already a lot of forums where they can get help from. And there are also some bug requests and the feature requests that the user can see beforehand from the Jira board that the Keycloak community has. We will quickly go to the link. So here is the Jira board that is maintained by the Keycloak team, and you can see all the issues and all the backlogs, that feature request that is going to be developed for the later versions of Keycloak. So in all, I would say that it is a well-maintained project by the team, and it is very lively, it is very active. So these are some of the main reasons that I personally like this product very much than the others. I will quickly share all the links in the description below, and you can quickly give a look to it, and also you can browse through all the things that Keycloak provides, and all is completely free, so you can go through it. So now about the Keycloak tool itself. So far we have seen like how the community or how the Red Hat team manages the project itself via Jira or the GitHub, and also how they release it. But now let's see some technical side of the Keycloak. For example, the entire Keycloak backend is developed in Java. So let's go quickly in one of the module of Java and see the source code. And here, of course, it will be everything in Java. And as far as the front end is considered, I think it is built, I'm not very sure, but it is built on Angular, and it uses Patternfly framework. That implies, like, as it is built completely, the backend is built completely in Java. It also implies that you can run this Keycloak application anywhere where you can have a JVM machine. When you download the Keycloak package from their website, so let's see here. So when you download this package, and when you start it, it will spin up a Wildfly server where Keycloak as an application or as a war application will be deployed on this server, and it will be hosted by default on port 8080 of your machine. Now let's see the system requirements necessary for running the Keycloak. Here are the system requirements for running a Keycloak machine, running a Keycloak software smoothly. And in my experience, I have always given like 1 core CPU and minimum 600 MB of RAM, and it was enough for the Keycloak or to play around with Keycloak. Of course, if there are not millions of users involved, it will function smoothly with few hundreds of users with this configuration. There are multiple ways of starting a Keycloak. That is, we can start a Keycloak server directly in the native OS, or we can use container orchestration tools like Docker, Kubernetes, OpenShift, etc. In the next video, I will go through on how to start a Keycloak server on a native OS and also by using Docker. I hope that was a fair introduction to the Keycloak, and now we will jump to the administration console and see some of the settings and configurations of Keycloak in very brief. As soon as you will hit this URL, you will come to this page, and this is the welcome page of Keycloak, and all the links except for this administration console, it's just a hyperlink to their website, and the main thing over here is this administration console link. And as soon as you click on this link, it will take you, or it will redirect you to the login page of the Keycloak console, or the administration console of the Keycloak. And this user, what I am entering, is also known as the super admin user of your whole installation of Keycloak, that which simply implies that he has all access, all control over the Keycloak that you have installed. When the authentication is done, you will land up on the console page, what you can see right on the screen. And you will also notice the word master over here, which is nothing but the name of the realm of the Keycloak. The realm in Keycloak sense means a place where there are a lot of settings or configurations, and all these configurations are tightly bound to this master realm. And right now, only the super admin user, like what we have used to log in, is having access to this realm. And basically, this is also the entry point of setting the future applications to this Keycloak installation. So it will all start with this super admin user, and then it will go on depending on the applications that we will be having. So the very first setting over here will be the realm settings. So it is like the overall structure of how your realm should behave, or how it will make a login with your applications. It also manages the cryptographic keys. It can set up the email server, some themes to set up for different accounts, or we can also customize the theme of the Keycloak. It has the setup for the localization, like the language support, and token configuration, client registration, setting some security configuration like the cross-site scripting, origin, and also the brute force attacks we can directly set up from the Keycloak server itself. The other part, which is also the main part to integrate any applications, is the client. The Keycloak calls it client. In our terms, we can also consider it as an application. So the number of applications that you want to integrate with this Keycloak installation, or let's say in other words, each application that you want to integrate to this Keycloak will always have one client configuration over here in this page. That means if you have 3 applications, you have 3 clients over here, 3 client configuration. And this will basically make the client know that this is the Keycloak endpoint where it has to make a login. Then there are some role information where we can work on the authorization step, like which user should go to which pages, or what access does he have. Then we can configure some external identity providers, and make the identity brokering. Then there are user source configuration. We can federate users from different sources. There are some authentication flows that we can define and we can customize. At the same time, there are a lot of options over here where we can utilize to make our system customizable, to make it work like how we want, and in overall to make the login experience very good for the user. We can also manage groups in Keycloak, like putting a set of users in one group, and we can assign directly the group a role. That means all the users in that group will have that role. All the users that we have in the Keycloak will be seen in this section. And I'll just make a point that, as we said, that this is the master realm. There is also a possibility to add different realm. For example, I will just add one, which is test, and I'll say create, and it will create. Yeah. And if I go to the users here, I will not see that user at all. Then this is what was my next point, that we have two realms, and the user of this realm has nothing to do with the user of the test realm, and in no way they can ever share any information. So, and also it's the same case for the configuration. So when we have two realms, they will not share any configuration information. The only thing that master is a little bit ahead in control, because super admin is the user who is accessing or who is using the master, and master somehow manages all the other realm that it will have. So the users, what we see here, will be for the master realm right now, and this super admin user will have control over all the users in all the realms of this Keycloak installation. In the sessions section, we will see all the active sessions of any user or the clients, or in other words applications that is having an active session. In the events, we can configure like which events we want to store. There are a lot of event types that we can have: login events, login failure events, password incorrect, and many much more. And import and export is just like the format to export the settings and import the settings of the realm. So in a nutshell, this was very quick introduction on the admin console of the Keycloak. So when we started this video, we had a question that we wanted to answer in this video, and it was, why Keycloak? Why Keycloak when there are other available options? So let's jump to that part and try to answer it, and I will simply answer it by giving the benefits of using Keycloak. To answer to this question, one must look and compare the features and benefits provided by the software or the product. In the description below, I have mentioned other authorization servers which also implements the same authorization and authentication protocols. The scope of this video is mainly to discuss the benefits of Keycloak, so I will not go through the benefits and the features provided by the other authorization servers. So let's quickly get to the website of Keycloak, and now I will just go through the benefits. You can already see it in short over here, and what I will do, I will just pinpoint some and describe a bit. So due to growing an active community, the product brings update and covers all or almost all the aspects of the protocols OIDC and SAML. And the UI dashboard of Keycloak is very simple and very convenient to use. That's another benefit that I think of. Then it provides integration adapter to Java applications, .NET applications, JavaScript, and many other applications it supports. And it also has a documentation where your application adapter is not present. You can also have a Keycloak gatekeeper. So it's like a Keycloak proxy in front of your applications, and it will relay all the requests to the application at the back. So it can still enable authentication for the adapters that is not yet provided by the Keycloak. And out of the box, it has a solution for simple management of the users, like registration, forget password, reset password, sending an OTP or sending an email, etc. If you have external user data source like LDAP, Active Directory, or even an ADFS, it can easily be integrated to Keycloak to enable SSO login to your applications. It can easily enable social login from Google, Facebook with minimum settings, or also external providers which supports OIDC or SAML. High availability multi-node clustering is possible with the Keycloak installation. Customizable password policies. The look and feel of the login UI, email templates can be easily customized according to the requirements. Then, if all the above is not enough, Keycloak has many interfaces, which is called as service provider interface, to integrate our custom code or logic with Keycloak. That too without compromising its basic functionalities. The Keycloak documentation is available on their website. So it is here. The link is also provided in the description below, and you can go through all of it. It has all the instructions and how to set up clients, and yeah, you can get a detailed information from this website too. So with this introduction to Keycloak, I would like to conclude my video, and yeah, we will go in the summary. So in this video, we went through the introduction of Keycloak, got to know what is RedHat SSO and how it is related to Keycloak. Then we looked into multiple features and benefits that Keycloak provides out of the box, and also it can be extended by writing SPIs. With this being said, I will conclude this video here. In the next video, we will be having more of a hands-on video on how to run Keycloak on a native OS and how to quickly run Keycloak using Docker. So we will see that thing in the next video. I hope I can see you there. Till then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel.